Chapter 7 The Sea Serpent's Song. When I came to, I awoke covered in mud with that large murky lake in front of me. What happened? Nature loves courage. You make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. Anything is possible, said Dionysus. Where was I? Wherever you are is the entrance. This is the only way to go. Now the better question is, what did you see? Because you were at the gate of the source from which the grapevine grows, said Dionysus. This dream got more unusual and suspicious the longer it went on. I couldn't tell what was real, and I didn't know where I fit or how exactly I belonged. I rose to my feet when I paced to and fro, because whatever had just happened seemed like a long time ago. I dreamt I was free. Now Dionysus giggled. Oh, I've been wondering the same thing. You were right there. I saw you at the pinnacle of creation, but the fear wouldn't let you stay. And then at the last minute, you became afraid, because you were acting like a baby tiger cub. Still afraid of your own shadow, said Dionysus. How in the world could you figure that? I've been lost and buried alive. Then I fell asleep after I'd been damned in hell. And if you figure I'm afraid of my shadow, then I'm sorry, but your mind must be deprived. I am strong and I am willing. I've done everything in my power to survive. And if only I could find a way out, then you'd see how ready I am to thrive. Dionysus chuckled and jumped up to his hooves. The exit is there in front of you. Instead, you played it safe and stayed stuck in your cocoon. You came back to the dirt instead of connecting to the source the same way every flower blooms. Oh, you were so close to discovering magic. You were right there on the very edge. But every butterfly gets a little nervous to leave its cocoon. And maybe next time you'll jump free from that edge, said Dionysus. I got irritated listening to this boy, but I also didn't dare disagree. I'd seen what happens to him when he's upset, and I certainly did not want that beast to pummel me. I got up to walk on my own. I took a moment to find some air and peace, but Dionysus came walking right behind me when his little voice wouldn't cease. You know, I've been in your position. I used to be afraid to spread my wings and fly. But once you realize how life is a lot like a boat heading into open water, eventually you understand the purpose of every vessel is bound to sink before it dies. So when you think of it like that, there's really nothing to lose. You may as well leap at the next opportunity you get, because after all, life is a collection of the choices that you choose, said Dionysus. You make it sound like I was on the verge of being free, or am I caught in a dreamy nap? If you know the way out of this maze, then please show me, because I'm sick of being trapped. Oh, Dionysus, you're just a little boy, and special you may be. But you and I are not the same, my dear child. I am desperately trying to get freed. The boy burst out laughing. I couldn't believe he thought of me as less than brave. Hadn't he seen what I'd gone through? That strange satyr had no idea where I'd been, ever since I'd been thrown down here. You and I are quite similar, interrupted Dionysus, because they threw both of us in. He cut off my mind's ramble when I began to sympathize with this poor boy. He was lost too. Neither of us were free. And why was I always stuck in selfish thoughts as I continued to think about me? I wish I could do something to help both of us. But what was I to do? If I can't even help myself, then how can I help you? Dionysus, my boy, both of us are stuck in this cave. I keep getting lost in dreams where I think we're on the verge of being saved, but every time I awake, it's as if I rise to my senses. That's when I discover we're trapped again in a series of unending consequences. But you wish for our freedom. Then come with me and I'll show you the way. If you really wish to find union with the grapevine, know that before long you'll have to take the leap of faith, which is the exact same as a soul wandering astray, said Dionysus. He pulled that flute to his lips and played a new tune, while a light blue aura hovered around his body. It was so profound and brilliant and... Hey, keep playing now. Dionysus smiled and said, "You've seen the source of the grapevine. You know exactly where it is. It's time you take the choice to let go of this delusion and discover where the true path lives." "But I can't just turn it on like a switch." "Well, I can," said Dionysus. "Do you wish to know the way?" Had he been concealing the path? What in the world was he trying to say? "Of course I am ready," I told the boy. I watched him raise the flute up to his lips again, but he spoke just before he played the tune. "If you truly think you're ready, then I will reveal the way. But there's nothing that frustrates me more than the one who uses words only to let the action of real opportunity slip away. If you see this time is fit, then you must use all of your experiences to remember where you are. All of the failures up till now do not define you. It's the pure experience that has guided you this far. If you stand with integrity, then you have nothing to worry about. But I should mention, although this path is simple, it is not the easiest route," said Dionysus. He raised the flute up to his lips, but this time the flute was not as joyful and bright as before. Rather, this tune was eerie as it loomed through the cavern when something under the water roared. I heard the waves move energy. Now the water splashed onto the shoreline of this giant pond. All the energy flooded upwards, and it sure felt like something had gone wrong. I could hear Dionysus' song, and the water continued to rise. Now I heard a giant creature rise from the depths of this lake. Oh goodness, were we about to die? The mind is like a garden, and I've come to trim all the naughty weeds. White knuckles hang on for dear life, but gentleness is all a seed truly needs. No more grasping. I'm going to show you how to bloom. If you wish to be reborn, then first we'll plant you back into darkness's womb. Life is but a myth, and our mind is commentary for our lives. If you seek to find the absolute truth, then the truth must reveal how we are growing to die. Be wise like a fool. You exist to question. The magic is right in front of your eyes. This is the energy over aggression," said Dionysus. At once, a giant black snake emerged from the depths of the pond while its hood towered over us from above. Its mouth opened when its tongue hissed in the darkness. The snake around my neck rose to greet its fellow serpent, and so the giant one began to rock from side to side. "Dionysus, what have you done?" I point out society's flaws as I rebel against stubborn authority. I create intricate predicaments, all with the intention to change the perspective of the unenlightened majority. I play with the laws of nature. Sometimes I am my own worst rival and foe. I appear when a way of thinking has been outdated, and so I will tear down the old tower and teach everyone how to grow. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am the link from deep below to up above. My path requires me to be sly like a snake, yet I am simple like a dove. I am the trickster, a part of the collective and hidden unconscious, residing deep within the shadow. I play tricks on the ego through jokes and deceit in an attempt to bring about something true and conscious, said Dionysus. What do we do? I asked the boy. The boy never told me he was a snake charmer. He'd summoned this wild creature from the depths of the deep below, but somehow he wasn't afraid the least bit. Now what wasn't he telling me that I ought to know? You ever heard of Jonah and the whale? Well, you should reflect on that, said Dionysus. A moment later, the giant snake shot forward. Open fangs trapped us like a fence before we were swallowed up inside its jaw. We disappeared between worlds into a state of primordial darkness where everything seemed characteristic of the trickster, and somehow anything that could happen would happen. Just when I thought I was dead, I heard his flute ring out when his soul began to glow. Go where you don't know, and let go when you think you know. Nothing could be more magical than the moment of this journey. That's how life on the grapevine grows, said Dionysus.